Well, I'm also a big fan of my next guest, Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital, part of this show for over 30 years, which is great to hear, still going strong with terrific education in the world of sports medicine. And with that being said, Dr. Joe, what do you have for us this week?
Hey, Ray, good morning. You know me, we've been doing this a long time. I hate to leave loose ends out there, and I've kind of gotten in the middle, both in the statewide and nationally of a little bit of some controversy in one area that I want to touch on today. But I was looking back in my notes. It's been 4 or 5 years since we started to talk about the rise of flag football. And, what was flag football going to do? We were looking at flag from the standpoint of a really good alternative sport for young women and girls. We were looking at flag football as maybe an alternative for youth athletes before they get into tackle or just even to learn to play the game. And now we have a little bit of some history to say how things are going. And I read several articles on the girls' participation and young women, and the word they just keep using over and over again is explosive growth. It's just grown like crazy, Ray. It's last year doubled in the number of young women playing football, 68,000 girls playing. It's sanctioned in 16 states for high school. There's 18 more pilot high school states for high school, so almost every state has some degree. And now there's things available for young women after they're done playing high school. There's actually scholarships available, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, that's been mainly through NAIA. But so there's a lot of opportunity out there. Just in the kind of order of a couple things, number one, there are college scholarships now for young women in flag football. Number two, they're going to be included, it looks like, in the 2028 Olympics. Number three, they're going to be part of a tournament in a year from now in the 2027 draft in Washington, D.C. It's the fastest growing sport. Number four, fastest growing sport in the National Federation of High School Sports. It grew about 105% in 1 year, a year or two ago, 105%. So it's the fastest growing sport. NFL clubs are supporting it. This is twice in 3 weeks. I'm going to give a shout-out to the Browns. Most places that I read said the Cleveland Browns organization is the most supportive of young women playing flag. And the 2026 state tournament is coming up very soon down at the Hall of Fame in Canton. And so if you want to see it yourself, there's a great tournament going on down there in the next couple of months. So on the girls' side, things are going great, girls and women's side. On the youth side, things are going great. They use the same terminology, explosive growth for young people playing youth sports. So when we started 5 years ago, we were talking about, could it be a safer alternative, non-contact? Could it be less head injuries for young kids? Definitely evidence shows is the earlier that you have a first-time concussion, the more issues you might have later. So that's what we had in mind, and it seems like it really is growing in a great way. 71% growth, 2.4 million young athletes playing flag football. And so it can be used for pre-tackle, to learn the skills of football. It can be learned just to play the game. It's America's favorite sport, and so for people that might be their one chance to get to play the game. There are decreased head injuries. It can be played co-ed. Girls and guys can play. No weight restrictions. There's 1,800 leagues in the United States supported by the NFL. So it promotes fitness and teamwork and sportsmanship and all those things about sports that you and I have talked about for 30 years that are good about flag football. So it's going very, very well. But the issue then, why am I getting a call nationally and even locally from people statewide, is there have been some issues with some head contact, some whiplash-type injuries. There have been some head injuries and concussions. I've been kind of pulled into a national debate. Do we need to use headgear with the amount of head injuries? It's a very high energy. It's very fast speed. I've talked to you before that a lot of the collisions don't have to be head-to-head for these injuries to occur. And so we are finding there are concussions that are occurring, especially on the youth side. And actually I've heard this debate on the girls' side too. We're not talking about hard shell helmets, but the safe shell, the soft shell, mushroom tight helmets. I was at first not wild about this a couple years ago when they called me. We tested this 20 years ago in soccer and basketball for other sports, and it really didn't reduce concussions. So we asked the number one place in the country where they study brain injuries right now and the use of different types of headgear, and that is at Virginia Tech, and they've done a great job in the last decade or more. They kind of are the go-to place in the country to study this. And there are initial studies, and they're very smaller numbers and early in the debate, is that it does reduce the amount of concussions if we use a softer shell helmet. And so with the fast pace and the high energy the debate is on, it's not optimal right now because there are some places that have organizations in Georgia and Texas that it is required to wear headgear, and then much of the country there's no mandate. So they're asking people in the sports medicine world, old people like me that have been around a while, what are your thoughts? And I'm kind of coming around to that I think maybe looking at the soft shell helmet may not be a bad idea as these sports are growing so much and as there is a lot of contact as you watch these people play. But the bottom line point today that I want to make, it's a great alternative. This last 5 years has proven it's worked out so well for young women, for youth athletes that want to play. That word explosive growth everywhere that we turn. Flag football has been a tremendous success everywhere we turn, but we do have to face this issue about whether to use headgear or not.
All right. Joe, if you had to fast forward and make a prediction 20 years from now, will flag football be separate from American football, or at some point will the youth organizations back off American football at the early ages and go strictly flag football? How do you see this playing out in the decades to come?
Well, I mean, Ray, every darn week you're asking me a really tough question, and I'm too old to be answering tough questions, but no, honestly, that's an absolutely great question, and I have thought about it myself, and I honestly, in my heart, think there is a slightly different skill set for people that are really good at flag, and I honestly think that it will be a sport in and of itself, a little bit separate from American tackle football. And if you ask me in 20 years, I believe that it will be freestanding as flag football. That's the answer I'd have to give you.
All right, my friend. Great job, good research, and a terrific topic that we've touched on for a number of years. Thanks for the visit again, my friend. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Ray. Have a great week, okay?
You got it. Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital, joining us live this morning.